Welcome to Factorio Launch recap episode number 3. My name is Nilos and this is the series where I summarize my Twitch base. So you might think this looks somewhat like the one we have on here on YouTube, but this is actually the base I'm building on Twitch, and this is the end of last week's stream. So what I'm doing is I'm streaming over on Twitch on Tuesday, Thursdays and Sundays at 8 PM Central European time, and on there that means I stream about 12 hours every week. And they make quite a bit of progress. We started this on the launch weekend, and the focus has been getting up this nice little base that will just chuck along, build some stuff, just launch rockets left and right. We have quite a lot of rockets to launch here. The objective is that I need to launch this many rockets, and at the same time, every time someone new subscribes in the Twitch chat, there will be spawning new biters around the edge of the base, and that means I always keep busy. This means that a lot of it has been feeling a little bit like a death world base. So really what the main objective at this point, where we start off the week that has now passed, was actually just making sure that we got enough in of everything. So we have still red belts, we have some copper coming in here, but we don't really have enough copper. So what I want to do is to make sure that we have like really stringent iron and steel coming here, copper over here. Everything's going to be good. Then we can feed everything. We're going to scale this one up and basically have this base do two things for us: continue doing a bit of research, continue to, well, launch rockets, but that's kind of the research part, but also very importantly, keep building more modules, because modules is what we need in order to scale up. So focus on the first episode was just getting this base what I can only call done, and then start taking it from there. Let's jump forward after the first stream to take a look at what the situation is like. And here we are. So one thing that is really important, what I've been spending the majority of this stream on, is you can see that there is now a new setup here. This is a bit of a weird setup, but I'm trying to build new train setups every time, just trying to do something interesting. And maybe one day we'll find something effective as well. Now, I think this is very effective. What I've basically been designing, we can see we have stations here. We have a coal station, we have a copper station, we have a deadlock because some idiot hasn't been doing things right. I'm just going to remove this deadlock even though we are in a test setup. It has to be put in there. As soon as that one gets put in, then we will have all what we need. That one. Yeah. That should be fine. Okay, so what we have is we have coal, copper, and stone coming in on this side. And on the other side, we have iron and uranium coming in. So the way I've designed the system is that if we get some copper, then it must come in from this side and go this way. So that you can see we have this set up here. And that will go into these locations, which will be wired up. They will be wired up when they will add a green signal, which means open the here. If there's less than, I don't know exactly how much, I think it's about 40,000 or something like that here. So basically it'll just alternate, or it'll fill up these two trains with copper. Copper must come in from the side. So if I have a copper location down here, it has to go all the way around and in. That seems really inefficient. Maybe it is, but I don't really mind so much. The way I enforce it is by taking it through this station, which is just a waypoint. I just want the stations to come in here. What happens is that any copper from down here, is that a copper? Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Look at that. It goes in there, straight through, goes all the way around, then it goes in the outer track, which means it doesn't disrupt any of the loading here. And it can just go straight through and all the way around, and then go into a waiting location where up here, where I have a couple of buffer locations, where it goes in, wait for 2 seconds to be refueled, which I haven't built yet. And if one of these stations are open, it'll then send it in. Currently, you can see the arrow here is white. That means it's open. If, in like this case, it's red, then the station is closed. And at this point, we're still sending more trains in. That is one more iron train coming in here. And that will actually have to go back and go around, go back again. So that's basically the train station we've built, plus the fact that we now have lots of belts here. Well, the next thing we want to do is make sure that we scale it up to blue belts, so we can get this part, get one more of these inbound. I know it seems like a lot to do it this way, especially without modules or anything. But you know, it's just iron and copper. Just do it. We don't want to waste our precious plastic and modules on making this better, because just get in an extra train of copper and iron. That is fine for now. And that gives us lots of belts here. We got 3 belts of green circuits, 3 belts of plastic. And yeah, that's kind of where we are in the space. There's still, as always, red circuits, blue circuits. That's what we are waiting for. And that's just going in here to feed endlessly more modules. And from here on, this is where we actually start on the design of what are we going to do beyond this space, because this space cannot scale. Obviously, we are reaching the end of this base size, but I wanted this one to be nice and big and stringent and effective and, you know, all that stuff, so it can just deliver what we need and I don't have to worry about it. It's just working. And then we can start scaling out and building something new. Now, I think if we jump into the next episode, and then we can, or sort of jump into the forward in time, just to take a look at what it is I want to build, like the idea for the mega base. This is just a starter base, remember? So we got a nice, good starter base. It's working and stuff, but we want to build mega base, right? So that's a completely different topic. Let's jump forward. And here we are. You will not be able to see much of a difference. So we've been working on some things on the bus here, like upgrading things to blue circuits or blue belts, so that we can have 3 of these, and we can now get a really nice 4 blue belts of green circuits coming up here. These are still red, yeah, okay, but they would like to be updated anyway. But now we have 4 full lanes of blue circuits, 4 full lanes of iron, 4 full lanes of copper. Really exactly what we want. And that's coming from this location down here. We also have a bit more than 1 lane of steel, yeah, but we're putting it out into that. If we go up here, all the way up, you can see that, as always, the red circuits, but you can see that the red circuits are flowing rather well. And there is definitely some things here. I can see that this could very well be better, right? These are only taking like non-prioritized, but I think I'd really like to get it prioritized, because I think that would actually be fine for that. Let me just see if what that would look like if I did. I'm gonna get run over now. Wouldn't that be interesting? Just want to see what that would look like here. So where are we at? It's up for the red circuits. Yep, the red circuits have to be, make sure that they are prioritized. That's the one that we need to prioritize there. That's the first one. Prioritize left, and prioritize left. Now we'll get significantly less into this one, but the question is, won't it still be enough? And then we can get these to work just a wee bit faster. Yeah, I think it's actually good enough, isn't it? It might be starting to struggle on some things, but it should be fine. All right, well, that's not the main topic of what we've been doing this stream. This stream we've been working really diligently. Look at the tracks before crossing, on making some designs, and that's what we have out here. We have worked on finding out exactly how many of each item we need to make a module that launches 1 rocket every 5 minutes. So my idea is, I want to make a module that takes trains in, and that will take copper plates, iron plates, coal, because I use coal liquefaction, and water. Those are the only 4 things I'm going to get inbound. With those inbound items, I can launch rockets. And then this design here is going to tell us how we would launch rockets. It's only going to launch rockets and output science, but it's not going to be making all the other sciences. So if I make a module that launches rocket, it takes all of this. Then eventually later on, I will also make other modules that probably will make other sciences, either like big designs for each different science, or maybe make a module that maybe makes 200 science per minute or something like that, right? Because that would be corresponding to this one. If this launches 1 rocket every 5 minutes, then that's 1000 space science every 5 minutes. That's 200 per minute. So yeah, that it's not very much, to be honest. And all of these are assuming that they are getting 8 beacons for pretty much all of them, or 10 beacons for the big ones here. Some of them absolutely don't need it, with using the Kirk-McDonald calculator to just hash out how much we want of everything. And it took quite a while to sort of figure it out, but I think that by not using oil but using coal instead, we can actually reduce the amount of materials we need quite drastically, or sort of the number of trains coming in. well, I mean, it reduces by 1, so we don't have to get oil in, and oil is always like a bit of a mess. So I like this idea of using cold liquefaction so we can manage it. We will make a module. One of these modules will be made exclusively with the robots. That's kind of what we decided, and that means we can stamp it down. Eventually we can stamp it down, and then we can assign trains to it, and from there on it's just gonna go somewhere else, right? We'll just figure out what to do from there. So we can just go 1, 1, 1, and just keep going. And if we put 5 of them down, we have 1,000 signs per minute, or basically 1 rocket per minute. But if we just stamp 10, 20, you know, just scale it up as much as we can get away with, and that's going to be objective and how I want to reach the number of rockets launched. You can also see the nesting queue is completely reduced to 0, so that is not an issue anymore. Biters have stopped spawning pretty much, and this is also really nice because we're now focusing more on building and designing and mega basing, and at this point biters transition from being a challenge to being just a nuisance, which is perfectly fine. The big sort of thing here is the rockets to launch, and that's the one we are going to focus on. Hence why we built the rocket module first. Now let's jump forward to the last stream of this week, so we can catch all the way up and see what how we put these things into motion, into some kind of unit. Let's take a look. And here we are, and the whole base is just chugging along, working nicely as it should. But what we have down here is the new module, and this looks really weird. Maybe it does, I don't know. It can fit into this size, and I've just made like a branch in, so trains come in, go around all of the oil parts. You can see it's still work in progress. We have our little build spider here, though tons of things that are not ready, but first thing we did was just make the size of it, so we got sort of a sense of how big it's going to be. Then also just started laying down how to design all the oil. That's the most difficult part, and we have done that now. I think that's working. We haven't tested it yet, but we're going to see if it works. And that's going to be sort of what we do in the next stream. We'll be firing it up and see if it actually works. What we also haven't done yet is assign all the materials out here. We are going to get iron plates and copper plates inbound, but steel will be processed locally. And it's kind of expensive, this one, because it takes a lot of modules. Let's just have a look at how much it actually takes. If we put it in here, that one, yes. So we are taking 377 productivity modules, 304 speed modules, and 152 beacons. So very expensive, one of these modules. However, it's something we can, when we get it, we know that we will launch, this one will launch a rocket every 5 minutes and just take all the materials and put them in here. So that's I think that's I mean, it's really interesting to try to do this. This is kind of, for anyone who's been following my channel for many years, there was once upon a time I had a YouTube series called Modular Megabase, which was kind of the same concept, and that's kind of what we're replicating here, making one module that launches one rocket every 5 minutes. And then imagine this part just being scaled down, maybe not like wall to wall. Oh my god, it's wall to wall. It can be done. Oh wow, I did not even see that coming. Now that's just too good, isn't it? That is too good. Oof. Damn. I think I want to just cultivate that idea a bit more. Maybe a bit more room here, because I'm gonna no room for modules here. But you know, there's a definite potential so that they can actually share beacons on the side. That would be so sexy. Yeah, sexy. I don't know. Anyway, this is also kind of feasible to set on a grid, on a 50 grid here. But that's where we're going to continue. We're going to start building this. Where do we build the first one? I kind of feel interest in just making like a line up down here and just go, that's where it's going to be. Maybe even go up and then make a T intersection, so we have a main line over here, and then make a main line down there, which could go maybe down here as well, and that one. Just make, why do all of me, it's always alarms going off when I'm trying to record, damn it. So that means also like big expansion out here, but that just means we got tons and tons of things to do. So I hope you'll be catching up on my live streams. If you can, they are over on Twitch TV/Nilaus, and I'm streaming this space every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 PM Central European Time. do check it out. It's pretty fun. Or you can also watch the VODs over on Twitch. Or if you're not so much into that, you can also just get this weekly update on the progression of the base and some of the thoughts that come into this. We're just trying to do new ideas every time we build a base. That's the incredible part about this base. Closing in on 6,000 hours, and we're still just designing new things that we haven't seen before. Really cool. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you either here on YouTube, over on Twitch, or maybe hanging out in our Discord. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel, both here on YouTube, but maybe also on Twitch if you feel like it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care and stay effective.